When you're ready to share your podcast with the world, you're technically ready to publish. And there are three things to consider with publishing. First, your file must be uploaded onto a web server somewhere called a media host or podcast host, like Soundcloud, so that whenever a media player wants to play it from a website, from iTunes, from a mobile device, it knows where to call that audio file from. Storing the file on your own website server is not recommended for many issues, especially bandwidth reasons. Second, a web page must be maintained that tells about the podcast and links to the file. And third, an RSS feed, which is a rich site summary, is needed for listing in online directories such as iTunes and for automatic downloading. Now, let's take a deeper look at uploading. I'll show you what's involved with uploading to a podcast hosting service like SoundCloud. So, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you create an account. So I'm going to click on Create Account in my upper right-hand corner. All right, and enter an active email address. Continue to the next page and enter a password that is no less than 6 characters in length. Provide an age, and then check off that you agree with the terms and that you're not a robot. And then you have to prove that you're not a robot. Okay, all images with roads. And the new images. We really want you to work for this. All right, let's continue. Now, they ask you to choose a display name, and that's important because it's associated with your profile that you see within SoundCloud. I'm going to select a podcast name that I have. And then if you'd like, indicate your gender, and we're ready to get started. Here we are in SoundCloud, and we have a page for us. It's been customized already. So you'll notice in the header that the display name that you provided is here with the drop-down menu. And the two important selections are profile at the very top and tracks at the very bottom. We are going to complete our profile information, so I'm going to select the first option. And we'll notice we have a yellow banner that reminds us that our email address needs to be confirmed. So I'm going to do that right now and check to see if one has been sent to my email address. And it has. And with one click, I'll confirm, and I'm immediately told that my address is confirmed. All right, so I'm going to refresh this page, and that will remove that banner. You'll also notice that you have 2 spots here to update an image, either the header or the other, and we're not going to do that right now. But I will bring you to the edit option on this page, and we want to click there because we have some more information we're going to include. Of note, the profile URL is provided, and you're going to include your first and last names, city, and country. And if you want, you could provide a little more information about yourself in the bio field, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go right to saving the changes that were made. And our profile has been updated successfully. All right. Now we're going to adjust our content settings. To do that, we need to go back up to the header and click on the three dots. We'll go to almost the very bottom to the settings, and that brings us to the account page, but we want to go directly into content. Okay. And you'll notice there are two sections. There's the RSS feed section and the upload default section. There are only two fields that require information. I will leave the language field as it is, but the category, learning is my podcast genre, so I am going to select education. If I did have any explicit content, I would recommend that you check off the box here. But I'm going to direct us to the upload defaults, and I'm going to suggest that we check off include in RSS feed. So if you intend to primarily upload podcasts, you want to enable this RSS feed setting, keeping in mind that you can override the default setting on the edit page of any track. Now we'll save. And that has been updated successfully. All right, so SoundCloud has essentially generated an RSS feed and has also provided a web page within SoundCloud for your podcast or any of your tracks or episodes. So this RSS feed is a unique web address that can be copied to your own website or to directories like iTunes. Now let's add your first sound or your first track to your RSS feed by uploading. So let's go back to the header. Right next to our profile name is the upload button. And this is a very simple process. You click on choose a file to upload. That brings you to your computer, and you can then select a file of your choosing. All right, so SoundCloud is processing our track as we speak. Okay, I'm going to change the genre to learning, and it's found under audio near the bottom. If you had any tags that describe the genre or mood of your track, you could enter it in the small field. If you had more descriptions regarding your track, the larger field is also provided. And I'm going to go ahead and save. And it tells us that the upload has been complete. And it prompts us to go to our track. So at this point, you could certainly play it and check it, upload an image. We're not going to do that here. But I do want to go to our tracks. And so we go back up to our display name or our profile name, click on the drop-down menu, and select tracks at the bottom. And you'll notice that no tracks have been uploaded. All you have to do is refresh your page, and we should see it. And there it is. All right, now let's just click on the checkbox for the track you've just uploaded and just go up a little bit to edit your track, choose the drop down, and go into permissions. And we're just going to check to make sure that include in your RSS feed has been selected. And it's there, it's selected. So again, if you submit your RSS feed address to podcasting directories like iTunes, after you're initially set up, all you have to do is keep publishing audio content to your tracks page and Soundcloud, and the directory will automatically get updated. Now, to get your podcast into iTunes, that means to submit your feed or add your SoundCloud RSS feed, you're going to go back into the Content tab. So that means heading back to the header, clicking on the three dots, going to the second last bottom option, that's the settings, and moving from account into content. And you are going to highlight, select, and copy your RSS feed that's provided. You're going to open iTunes and submit this feed to the iTunes store. You're going to paste the feed where they provide the field to do so and complete any of the subsequent prompts. And your podcast will usually be approved and appear in iTunes within the next week or so. It's always advisable to send your listeners to your own website, as you then have complete control and ownership of the podcast. So, to make your podcast appear on your website, you need an embed code. So, let's go to the drop-down menu beside your profile name in the header and go down to the bottom to the tracks option. And you're going to hover over your track and you'll see the three dots. Click on that. Choose the second selection down to share. There we go. We're going to move into the embed field. And you'll notice under code, there's a long piece of HTML code there. You're going to copy this code, and on your website, you're going to paste this code from your media host, and make sure you do this in text rather than visual mode. And if you hit preview or publish, your episode should then appear on your website in the post as a player. Okay. So now your podcast will be available to stream or download on both your website and in iTunes. So keep in mind, they're not technically hosted on your website or in iTunes. They are being pulled from Soundcloud. That is your media host using your RSS feed each time someone requests them. That is, hits play or download. And that's how your podcast becomes available to the world.